some social media questions. Sharon Duquette on Facebook. I'd love you to speak about the way parents and family members could feel less blame and shame over suicides and overdoses from addiction, as it seems to me society shuts down even more with these types of deaths.
Horrible stigma around death by suicide, mental illness, being mentally compromised, addiction. And one of the mistakes we make is we blame the victim. And modern science is telling us that dying by suicide, dying by being mentally compromised or addiction are real illnesses that the brain experiences. And we all had an old way of thinking that people choose suicide or they choose addiction or can say no. We know that's not true anymore. No one in their right mind would choose those things, but that's the key. Their mind is ill.
Is there a common thread through suicides? I'm always amazed how anyone could take their own life.
Well, here's the thing we know now, is that people who have survived, they attempted a death by suicide, all tell us they did not want to die. They were trying to escape the pain. So it's about pain for them. It's not about death. And to me, the meaning is us finding better ways to deal with addiction and mental illness and being mentally compromised. That's the meaning we have to bring forth to change the world.
How come with suicide, many people will say, he was happy. He gave me no reason. He left no note. Why did he do this?
Because we put up a facade now, and we make it look like we're fine. And we don't know how to be vulnerable and tell people with social media and everyone's looking great and having a good time that life is hard sometimes. And we have to be okay with the valleys. People who are unhappy and sad and having a tough time, we need to help them feel safe enough to speak up.
Joandria de Cuba on Facebook. It's been almost 3 years since my stillborn baby became an angel. I've been diagnosed with PTSD and depression. My question is, now I'm going to therapy for PTSD and depression. Is this part of grieving? What's PTSD?
Post-traumatic stress disorder, she's naming. A lot of us get post-traumatic stress when a death or something bad happens in our life or trauma. My work is to let people know post-traumatic growth happens even more. And so in her case, I'd want her to know, and I don't know her clinically, I'd want her to know that there is a normal despair, there is a normal depression and sadness that will happen when your baby dies.
Christine CR on Facebook. With the amount of violence in this country and deaths from mass shootings, drug overdoses, suicides, how does a person find meaning in this sixth stage?
Great question. The meaning is not in those horrific events. The meaning is what we do after. What do we do about these shootings? What are we going to do about addiction? What are we going to do about mental illness? The meaning is what we do after the person dies, to honor them, to make the world safer, so that other people don't continue to die that way.
Do you know why people shoot up schools?
People shoot up schools, I think, because they are mentally in pain. They have access to weapons they don't know how to be responsible enough for. And we have to learn we're our brother's keeper. You hear after a shooting, that kid was quiet, that kid was strange, but none of us said, what's happened to you? Not what's wrong with you, but what's happened to you that makes you not talk to people and not connect with other human beings. We have to make this world change by becoming our brother's keeper.
Best GW on Facebook. Do you find children have an easier time finding meaning than adults?
I worked in Children's Hospital years ago, and in Children's Hospital, kids would be less afraid of dying. They would be less afraid of dying than their parents.
Why do you think?
I think as we get older, we get more afraid. We get more fearful. We get more attached.
So kids handle it better.
Kids seem to, they do, and it's heartbreaking for us. Heartbreaking for us. And sometimes we don't want to tell them the truth, and the reality is it's better for kids to know.
Do you find that same Best GW on Facebook? Also, do you find that certain cultures have an easier time coming to terms with or finding meaning when their loved ones transition?
Some others do, because they see the dying more than us. There's countries where you see people going to funerals and being cremated. We have such a separation from death that we don't see it in our world until it happens to us. And then we're so unprepared.
Never miss a beat. Subscribe to Larry King Now and watch new episodes every day.